something at the end, if something happens, now we need to have.
Okay, we are live here.
We tell you can rate share 3 of your favorite.
Okay, I think we're good. Yeah.
And then the bot will freaking start speaking like you with your name, best regards, hugs and kisses, whatever you want. That's the way your style. 3 examples. I think you can even do 2.
Cool.
Right?
I
About
think
email campaign, stuff like that. You can learn certain lessons you will share. It. You want to replicate with email campaign.
so, guys. We're gonna start very soon.
I didn't look.
Okay.
I want to have the release of the stuff and the first initial contact. I'm going to share. By the way, I'm going to share some tool discount codes. I'll share those via event like the list and all that stuff later. But I'm going to show you something called PPGPT. There's no such thing as a source anymore. You don't need the source. And PPGPT. That's what they're doing. Oh, I thought that was anybody online on LinkedIn. The Kiwi crowd, comedian.
Hi.
I know.
My name's Vicky.
Jenny, nice to say, how you doing? They do for something, Jenny.
My name's Lily.
Lily, you know, I think you get the new.
Me too.
It's like the.
Me too. I don't know.
We knew we don't break in your beat zones anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm thrilled. But
That's
I
what
think
it
it's a
is.
classic with them. It's a classic flow.
Would you the one who email, right?
That's somebody new, yeah.
Yeah. 92. Daniel Barla.
Me, yeah, Burma, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna learn some great stuff. I'm really excited about this.
I'm excited. I use AI every day
You do.
for work and personal too.
Perfect.
I work at JP Morgan.
Okay, what platform was, do you remember the platform?
Investment Wealth Management or
No, the
LLM.
LLM, yeah.
Yeah, having speed.
Okay.
That's why I use it, but myself, I use ChatGPT on the long
Okay,
because I am that content creator,
Oh.
influencer,
okay.
and that I'm also gonna write a book from that.
Excellent.
Then I would like to learn about how recruiter track the AI. I want to learn that.
Well, we were talking about that, you know. Sourcing, the sourcer, the job title sourcer.
Yeah.
is going the way of the travel agent, okay? We need to evolve, even the recruiter, okay?
Yeah.
Hiring managers with these automation tools and stuff like that, the whole entire interview process should be automated.
But when you use the AI, the resume look perfect. It's totally over.
No, it depends on, they have new avatars that are out now that are freaking amazing, amazing.
Because everybody put it in
But they're called-
integrity.
Okay, right.
They're not perfect, right?
And nothing, nothing. That's why we still where we are right now. We'll speak about that. We always have a human in it, you know? There's gonna be one example that he has, he's gonna show you, which will clean out your Gmail of any trash. So like, you know, people who send us recruiters, we get these hot lists from offshore recruiters or
Yeah.
these recruiters who send us email notes from India, want to know if they can work our job, whatever it is. And honestly, they're just junk emails. He's gonna show you how you can have all that stuff automatically, what it'll show up for first, it will show up with a tag that says reset. This is useless email to me, useless email. So you'll see it in your box, it'll just say you like. With a click, you can then send the note. Once you feel comfortable. I did with you already. I had a situation where choosing the bot to do that.
Yeah.
And I sent out the bot for a new account, but I had a new client on the project, big thing, and it's global. Remote, so I'd be considered literally candidates across the globe. So that was a big project. You didn't even, I'm gonna show you. Yeah, I'm gonna show this. But I.
hello.
forgot
Okay,
that
we are coming up here.
needs and stuff
Perfect.
going, what's called autopilot. And those autopilots have a series of 3 emails that they send. So because I forgot that these other autopilots, they'll send them the second and the third, I busted my Gmail account. Because I got tagged for spam, because I sent something like 22,000 emails in a day.
This is you.
That is me. But you're also gonna wanna follow this in.
I follow you.
Can check if the cameras.
Oh, God, yeah, forgot all about it, sorry. Okay, we're gonna get started here really quickly. Yes, we're ready. Recording, going in. Okay, let's find her.
You're making it a camera that we want.
I would make an ice joke right now, but it's not appropriate.
Is it okay, like, if we go into a side room here?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
And then-
Sorry for.
no, it's okay.
No,
We might,
any room's fine, yeah.
okay, and we might, like, at about 6:15, we might, like, just sneak out here and grab us something.
Doesn't matter. So this recording is very informal and if you want, you can walk in.
Okay.
Recording right now, that's important.
Okay,
All right, cool. We ready to start?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna do this first, right? So, you guys all know who I am, Daniel Perillo. Some of you remember me from the old meetups and job fairs and stuff like that we used to do for Baton, the Bay Area Technical Recruiters Group. Those are still on Meetup, but pretty much, the meetup market got very flooded with events. And then COVID happened. So we're starting up these events and we're looking to build a recruiting community.
And then we.
And it's gonna be giving around some amazing information today that really, everybody who walks away from today is going to feel very much feel that they got a lot out of it, trust. So that's me. This is my buddy. And definitely I recommend following him on LinkedIn. His content is amazing. And you will find it to be very beneficial, even for the jobs you're recruiting for. So if you're recruiting for machine learning, artificial intelligence, data anything, his content is valuable to these, even to the people you're recruiting. So this is Aditya Sharma, and sorry, good friends. And please take it up.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for taking your time this evening to come for an event. I'm Aditya Sharma. I can pull up slides just to give you a quick overview of my background. I come from an engineering background. It was long back in 2012. Then did my master's from Duke University. Worked with PwC and Deloitte as a cloud developer for 5 years, and then left my job in 2020 to start this company, High Counselor. The objective of starting High Counselor was to upskill people who are software developer and data scientists to make them even more tech savvy. Almost 6 to 8 months ago, we all came across this AI agents. We all use AI in daily life, but AI agent was a new thing that just came out like 6 to 8 months ago. And that made me so much excited that now we focus everything on upskilling people on AI agents, especially people who come from non-technical background. So people who are in sales team, marketing team, HR, operations, specifically non-technical background, we upskill them in building AI agents so that they can become more productive. So that's my background. Daniel, you want to go through?
Yeah, this is me for everyone. I've been with Cardinal Town and AI for almost 20 years. Okay, I started with the organization from its infancy and I'm still with them today. We have gone through plenty of pain points trying to do virtual recruiters. We've gone through pain points trying to do prompt development, which is a science all on its own. I have plenty of horror stories that I'm going to share with you over the times and stuff like that. And the pain points we've done in costs and expenses that were surprises, those type of things. So you can maybe avoid these pitfalls. I will tell you that the environment and the platforms that we're showing you today have a lot of this stuff resolved. And when this man says no code, that these are what are called no code programs, I am not a coder. Okay? But as I was praying with you, Brian, earlier, you're going to learn and you'll see what is JSON. You're going to see JavaScript code. You can't miss it in some of this stuff. You're going to love it. You're going to learn things that you've never seen before. Things like you've never have been able to do. And you really will be able to do it. Trust me, folks. If I have done this in the short amount of time, which really has been maybe about 2 months, if even, if I can do this stuff, you can too. The part is automating. You're not going to be without your ATS. You're not going to be without the tools that you love and use in there. What you're going to do is you're going to automate. So you're not going to keep doing the same crap you keep doing every day. Okay?
And I think it's, we would also like to mention, sponsor for this event. I mean, they allowed us to use this place.
Next slide. Next slide. I don't like looking at this. So, okay.
So Middleware, thanks so much, the founder of Middleware,
Yes.
Abdullah Mishnoi, he's
Thank
not
you.
here right now. But very thankful to him. I called him like this weekend, hey, can we host event at your office? And he was so kind to allow us to use this place. So I'm not sure, but if Middleware is anywhere in your business area, he's a great guy, serial entrepreneur. Thanks to him. So guys, while we doing this workshop, and as I was telling to you, Jay, we started doing this almost 3 months ago. When I met Daniel, he comes from recruitment background, non-tech background. I come from tech background, and we like, okay, we can club these two things, and we can help people get upskilled in building AI agents and learn these key AI tools. For recruitment, and it is, so we are going to specifically talk about recruitment industry, but it is valid for all the roles. I cannot imagine any role at this point in time which is not being transformed by AI, or which will not be transformed in the next 1 to 2 years. Okay, if we specifically talk about AI, when you talk about lead sourcing, until now we all go to LinkedIn and like, what are the great profiles, going to Greenhouse, going to Indeed, right? That is all going to be automated, and there will be a lot of ways in which you can use automation and make your work a lot more faster. Same thing, when you source, after that, screening those candidates, right? We all used to open resumes, see if it's a good fit or not. AI can do that very, very well.
And we're going to show you.
And we will show you. Yeah. And then 24/7 automation in a lot of different things. For example, I hate looking at my email every single day, going through all those emails, okay, which one I need to reply and not, rather than a simple AI agent with absolutely no code. I can tap my phone now and I say, okay, tell me what are the 5, and when I'm driving to my office, I tap and say, what are the last 5 emails that I received, or what are the emails that I received yesterday? Okay, reply this to this email, delete that email, label that email, just with voice when I'm driving to my office. That is the power of AI agents or AI. The future of recruitment, right? So as I said, until now, we are all manually sourcing profiles, screening resumes, doing repetitive outreach messages, follow-ups, right? Building that relationship. But moving forward, AI agent, and AI agent has already started doing that. Now, then people will say, okay, then my job will be gone. No, that is not true, right? If you learn how to utilize AI agents, you will be focusing on much more productive things, like building community with the real people, because people like people buy from people. If Daniel has to hire a candidate who's an experienced guy, and if Daniel has a great relationship, that guy will always join Daniel's company rather than my company, right? So you can spend time on building community, that relationship building, and making strategic decisions on how you can do even more productive recruitment for your companies. Okay. So a lot of people, again, just not from the recruitment background, but from sales, marketing, even data analysts, a lot of data scientists, they're like, are we going to be unemployed in the future? If yes, how can we future-proof our career? Okay, especially for recruitment industry and for sales, marketing, and operations role, there are just 2 things that you need to learn. Okay, 2 things if you learn, you will be in that top 1 to 2% of people. First thing is you need to learn different AI toolkit. What do I mean by AI toolkit? For example, I worked with Deloitte on 555 Mission Street for 5 years, building software solutions for high-profile clients like Disney, Fox Studios, Amgen, right? All these billion-dollar companies. And my time was mostly spent in creating very beautiful PowerPoint decks. That was my job. My partner was like very particular about font, right? McKinsey and all these consulting companies are about creating PowerPoint decks. There is an AI tool. How many of you have heard about Gamma?
Yes. Yeah.
Anyone else? I used Gamma 2 months ago, and I can tell you, I'm never going to use Microsoft PowerPoint again ever in my life. Never. The way
So you learned something new today. That's the one thing you learned.
if you're not utilizing Java to create, and again, they are not associated with Java. Hey, you're just getting started. Feel free to make yourself comfortable. if you're not using Gamma to create PowerPoint presentation, you're creating presentations in a very manner. I can validate that the presentation that I used to take 4 days, now I can create that in 2 hours. Absolutely amazing looking presentations with so less hassle. That is an example of an AI toolkit, and that is just one AI tool for the one task. There is an AI tool for every single task these days, and we need to be aware of those AI tools and utilize those AI tools. Now, again, here we also need to be a little bit careful because every morning you see 5 new AI tools are launched in the market. Right? You don't need to learn all like 5,000, and that's where you need to be very selective. You need to be aware of what are the top 10 tools that are relevant for me. That is AI toolkit. So upskill yourself in the latest AI toolkit relevant to different tasks that you do. Second thing is building AI agents. Now, I think, Radhika, you asked me, what is different between AI and AI agents? Okay, let me tell you. So we all use ChatGPT. We ask ChatGPT something, it gives us a response. That is an AI. Okay, artificial intelligence. We ask something, it is smart enough to give us a response. But ChatGPT cannot send an email on my behalf. ChatGPT cannot go to Amazon.com and order groceries on my behalf. ChatGPT cannot go to Expedia.com and book a flight for me. It cannot do that. AI agent can do that. AI agent combines the power of large language model like ChatGPT along with the ability to take action. It has the brain, it has tools to do the action. So now imagine I have a personal assistant and I say, okay, reply to these people on my email, book my flight to this, and get all the status updates from my team members and accordingly assign them the next task. And then I sleep. And when I'm sleeping, all this is getting done. And when I get up, I just get the update of the thing. That is AI agent. And that's where people have fear that, okay, I will lose my job. No, if you can learn how to build AI agents without any coding background, you can just make your work even more efficient, way more productive. Now, what you will learn today. So, look, Daniel and I, we have done a few sessions online. By the way, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have got nearly 40,000 followers. I try to do 1 to 2 sessions on LinkedIn almost every week. And my objective of every session, that anyone who attends that session, they learn something out of it. So today, Daniel and I discussed that you should learn when you leave this door. Okay. And we'll make sure that in the next 30 minutes that you will learn about, okay, what is AI agent? How can I get started? Okay. Because until now, you may be absolutely blind. And when somebody talks to you, you have no idea. When you leave today, you know what is AI agent, what are the fundamentals of it, and how you can get started. And we'll also teach you one.
And you'll see it work. You'll actually see it.
Yeah. And after this session, right, when you'll all reach home, I'll send you an email with ready to use AI agents that you can simply import, start using it for yourself. Okay. So that you'll take something from this session. And also, we'll also show you one tool from our AI toolkit. I told you about AI toolkits, right? In the previous slide, if you remember.
Yes.
We need to learn AI toolkit as well as AI agents. So we are going to show you one tool from our AI toolkit. Daniel is going to show that People GPT, which is his favorite, is a recruiter. You will all love it. He showed me. I was like, why the hell I'm paying LinkedIn $12,000 for a LinkedIn recruiter license? Man, no point. And that license comes with a year-long agreement. You cannot discontinue it after 6 months.
And by the way, LinkedIn is very guarded, very guarded. You can get an API for People GPT and the tools we're going to show you that you can connect and work in your workflow.
So do you have to, when you do People GPT, do you have to sign in and
Let me
is
show you,
it
we'll show you, but let's finish this so that we really want to get you out here in 30 minutes, because we know people are gonna have dinner and we want to, but I'm going to show you, you'll be amazed, okay? And we'll leave questions for the end so that we can get this stuff going, okay? Go
So
ahead.
now, first we'll cover AI agents, okay? And then Daniel is going to cover People GPT in our AI tool, okay? So just to give you an idea, if somebody asks you, okay, what AI agent can do in your recruitment process. I can tell you that AI agent can help you with sourcing, reviewing and scoring resumes. It can help you with candidate outreach, follow-up, interview scheduling. It can help you with onboarding as well. It cannot do everything end-to-end 100% by itself at this point. That is also a reality. Okay, so having this expectation that, okay, I'll just sit and do anything, no, it's not. But it will do every part or some of the part combined together.
And it's never perfect.
Yeah.
You were talking about this earlier.
Exactly.
Until you are absolutely positive that it's perfect, there's always that human aspect. And we're going to show you one of the tools that he's going to give you to take away from today, where certain things in your inbox will be labeled as useless. It'll be still in your inbox until you feel comfortable enough that all this useless stuff should automatically just go to the trash. And you learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah. So before we jump to learn about AI agents and actually build a first agent, I want to ask all of you, what is the most manual and frustrating task that you wish you could have a personal assistant for? I cannot give you a human personal assistant, but I will try to give you an AI assistant. So some of the recruiters told me, "Aditya, I hate going to LinkedIn and many other platforms and I need to source candidates." So sourcing is very manual. Daniel actually told me, he showed me his inbox like a few months ago. Literally, he showed me, "Aditya, look, I have got 300 resumes in the last 2 days since I posted a job."
No, that was in like 2 hours.
In 2 hours. So,
It was
right?
2 hours.
He showed, he's like, "Aditya, opening these and it's also not fair to not review hundreds of candidates' resume because they have high hopes, right?" So he told me about like reviewing this. However, somebody told me, that company is also based out of San Francisco. She told me that, "Aditya, my seniors keep reaching out to me and ask me, what's the status of that particular job requisition?" And then I had to go into my greenhouse, see what's the status, whether it's in the application stage, sourcing. Is there any way that AI agent will inform their status whenever they want at one click of the tap? So that is, what are your pain points? Anything that you would like to share?
All right, I'll start off. For me, it's the candidate write-ups. Showing, improving to the hiring manager that the search that I did, qualifying the stuff does match up with the job description, and that this actually is somebody that this person should really look at. They should take time out of their day to preview this candidate that I'm submitting.
Now, we are using Bright.io. So whenever I talk to them, it's just puts everything
I
in.
got it. We're gonna show where, it's gonna be the point where you won't even have to have that call. We'll show you.
Yeah, so we don't need, because then we just pass it, but mine is basically reviewing resumes, sourcing candidate,
Okay.
LinkedIn, sending emails, what to write in the email. Because what LinkedIn tells through the AI agent is useless.
Yeah, okay, okay. How about anything that you want to work on?
Would be sourcing the candidate, yeah.
What's your current process to source candidates?
I still use LinkedIn,
You go to LinkedIn, put in, and you use LinkedIn Recruiter or just the manager?
LinkedIn Recruiter.
Recruiter, right? Okay, cool. Anything for you, Brian?
Yeah, I would say really it's point number 2, reviewing the resumes, the filtering through. I just had a position posted yesterday and I literally have over 300 filters right now. I haven't even touched them yet.
Yeah, in 4 days, I got 3,000 resumes. In 2 days, I got 3,000 resumes.
All of you will love it, and I would love to work with all of you to make it really happen. Make this thing really, really happen. Okay. Okay, cool. Anything else you want to share? No? Okay. Jay?
So once we have profile identification, I find myself getting caught in a sinkhole of many times having to do manual contact discovery. Even with the automated contact tools, you still have to manually go through each profile, cross-reference with the tool. You can batch import, but to be able to create that batch, I have to create a CSV file to import into the tool. So there's no way around of the data entry.
Okay. Okay. And you import it for what purposes? To validate each profile?
No, he's trying to find contact information, so phone numbers, email addresses for names.
So for example, if I run, a fairly specific search, I pull down my prospects in a batch format. What I want to do is go to the next step of automating email discovery and capture. From there, importing that into a CSV file, which I'll put into my outreach automation program.
Got it. Do it.
So that outreach is an email campaign claim you're using.
Yeah.
And
And
what
what,
they ask the product that is,
Well, there's a couple of them out there.
like you're using more than one.
Yeah.
okay, got it. Okay, that's helpful. Cool. So, by the way, I'm gonna note down all the issues, all the challenges that you mentioned, and whenever I have the solution, I'll drop you a note.
You
Okay?
really will.
Okay. So, one more question that I have for all of you, as we mentioned, this is our first on-site event to start building this community specifically for recruiters to upskill them in AI. We want to know from you, which platform can we use to stay in touch with you? Do you prefer WhatsApp, Discord, email? Do you guys use WhatsApp on a daily basis?
No, but there's too much of WhatsApp, with personal WhatsApp, this WhatsApp, this, too much of
Okay.
this thing, you know. I think so LinkedIn is the best way. The LinkedIn messaging at comes. That's the best way.
So we can create like a LinkedIn group and we can
Yeah.
add all of you with it.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Make sense for all of you, isn't it? Or do you have different thoughts?
No, that's fine. That or email. I mean, I don't,
Email goes to
Well, yeah, but if you do it on LinkedIn, you usually get an email alert.
Right, I do.
So we are going to create a LinkedIn group and we'll add all of you there. Please accept that invite. Okay, do not ghost us. Okay. So what are we going to build today in our AI agent? We are going to show you two AI agents. Okay, the first one will solve one of your recruitment related problem. And the second one is going to solve your productivity related issue. Okay. So our very first agent is, a lot of you mentioned that you received what, I think 3,000 resumes, right? Reviewing those resumes and identifying, okay, out of these 3,000, what are the top 10 resumes that I need to reach out and have invite for one-on-one interview? For that, we have built an AI agent. Daniel is going to show you how it worked for him, but then I'll also give you a demo. Okay, for that, I will quickly run
I'm on Zoom, by the way.
a YouTube. Okay, so I'll quickly show that YouTube.
Maintain to the chair. We are recording the event, so you can watch the recording to see what you missed.
Okay, so I'll play a video.
Oh, this is excellent.
Founder and CEO of iCounselor. Recently, I wanted to hire data scientists for my team, so I posted on LinkedIn. I received an overwhelming response with 2,700 plus people commenting and expressing interest. I then asked candidates to email their resumes and a brief video answering a few behavioral questions. My hiring inbox, hire@iCounselor.com, was soon flooded with hundreds of responses, making it nearly impossible to manually review each one. To tackle this, we created an AI agent to automate the process. The AI analyzed all incoming emails, extracted resumes and video responses, and evaluated them based on work experience, skills, relevant projects, and education. Each candidate received a score. This allowed us to identify top 10 candidates within 30 minutes, invite them for interviews, and promptly inform the others of our decision. The AI agent reduced over 100 hours of manual work to just a few minutes, and it will continue to be a valuable tool for us in the future. We successfully onboarded our final hire, Anirudh.
Okay, now I just want to point out, he said it took 30 minutes to do that. And the reason why it took 30 minutes to do that, because there was so much stuff in his in 2,700, 27 plus.
We got like 500 people sending us the response. Okay, and it also included video responses. Every time I hire someone in my company, my first round of interview is record answer of these 5 behavioral questions, like what's the best problem that you've solved in your life so far, right? And record those videos and send that video recording to us. So you're not going through every recording when people answer like 7 to 10 minutes. It evaluated all the video responses, resumes, gave us top 10 candidates. We only invited top 10 candidates for one-on-one interviews, hire a person. That's a real scenario.
If I can interject again, from watching the YouTube videos and stuff like that, I know exactly what he's talking about and a way you can do it with a web URL you can send them. And then you could have a chat going with those questions you just talked about. So if you don't want to do video, you could do a chat. And it's like that to make it up. It doesn't take much time at all. But we're not going to show you that. Might be a good example for next time.
Yeah. So now let me show you how to build this AI agent, okay? And first thing, do not worry that if you come from a technical background, you don't come from a technical background. Let me give you.
So this is the dashboard. This is the dashboard where you go. It's again, all your projects, all your stuff will be there.
Before that, I'll just teach you some of the basics of AI agent, okay? So as I told you, AI agent is something that has capability to think and understand like a large language model like ChatGPT, plus it has a capability to take action. So it has access to tools like Gmail, like booking something on Amazon
Your ATS,
right?
Google Maps.
So if you see this particular diagram, this is my favorite diagram for this. In the center, we have AI agent, and it has three components, okay? The first one, the top one is LLM, large language model. So as humans, we have brain. Large language model is brain of an AI agent, okay? And you can, this brain can be OpenAI's ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, Facebook Llama, right? You can use any one of those. Second major component of any AI agent is tools, which is on the bottom right side corner. Okay, so you can provide access to any tool depending upon what type of work you want to do. If you want to send an email to candidates, you can provide Gmail as it is, right? Third component is memory on the bottom left corner. Can you see memory over there? Okay, so memory is another very important component of any AI agent. Suppose I'm talking to you, Lily, right? And I say, okay, what role you are hiring for? And you say, no, I'm hiring for a data scientist role. Now, my next question is, how many candidates have you hired for this role? And then you'll tell me I've hired 5 candidates for this role, right? So you understood that this is referred to the data scientist from my previous question. Earlier, AI did not have this capability. Every time we needed to tell what we are talking about, now it has memory just like us. So we can just have a very casual conversation and it will remember everything. So every time we are going to build any AI agent, we are going to give him brain, which is LLM. We are going to give them a tool, which is like a Gmail, and we are going to give them a memory so that they can remember our conversation. Okay. On the left-hand side, you see user query and the response. So that is you. You are giving a query or a question or a task to do. When everything is done on the right-hand side, it gives you a response. Okay, that I've sent email to 5 candidates. This is the score of top 10 candidates. Okay, this is a fundamental structure of any AI agent. There's nothing beyond that you need to understand. Okay, every time you are going to build an AI agent, we are only going to play around with these components. Okay, now for people coming from non-tech background, okay, what is the best platform to build an AI agent on? There is a platform. Let me show you that. There is a platform called N8N. Okay, and you can go to their website, which
What's it
is
for? N?
And it's in
N8N.
Nancy, 8, the number 8, and then the name.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let me zoom in if I can. So N8N.io, you can go to this platform. Again, neither Daniel nor I are sponsored by this platform until now. Hopefully, they'll sponsor us in the future.
But they're not now.
But not now. But
It's a N8
N.
and,
N for Nancy, 8 number, N for Nancy.
and then,
.io.
okay.
Okay, so this is, and by the way, coming from a tech background, I test every single platform that comes into the market. Okay, which one is better? Until now, I can tell you this is one of the best platforms for people coming from no code background. If you have a coding background, technical, then there are better platforms than this one. For example, LangChain. You don't need to know. Okay, but non-tech people can use NLM to start building small AI agents. As Daniel was telling me, other thing, build small AI agents, combine them, right? So start building small agents. Okay.
I want to say they have meetups here in San Francisco once a month. So, and they also do have a fantastic online community. We'll talk about that as well.
Okay.
So you're not left without support.
So anything is the platform, you simply go to this platform, click on get started on the top right to simply create your free account as we create on Instagram, as we create on Gmail. When you create your account, you land into something like this. Let me click here. And so then move filters. Okay. So you will land into something, this is their landing page. Now all these items that you're seeing over here, they are AI agents that I have built personally for my company. When 8 months ago, we started working on AI agents because we already come from software engineering and data science background. So when we started working, we decided that let's automate our internal process, let's make our process most efficient, and then we are going to go out and help different businesses improve their efficiency and productivity. So
He has more customers than he knows what to do with. Seriously.
So I've put a filter for all the agents that are live. Now let me show you different agents for different departments so that you'll understand. So for my sales team, these are all the active agents at work. So for example, earlier in my team, one person used to identify what are potential customers. Another person used to enrich those leads. And then third person used to reach out to them, follow up with them customer. And on top of these 3 people, I used to have my sales leader. All these people are here. Now I just have 2 people out of 4 people. One is the sales leader. Now this sales leader can do 10x work compared to what he used to do earlier. Okay. And all these AI agents are doing that work. If I talk about my marketing team, these are my AI agents that are currently working for my marketing. I have about 140,000 followers on LinkedIn, 60,000 followers on YouTube. And to write a good piece of content that can gain 500,000 of views on LinkedIn or on YouTube, for LinkedIn posts, I used to spend like an hour to 1.5 hours to really think through and give a very productive post. YouTube takes like about 4 to 5 hours to create a very good 10 minutes of video. I have a LinkedIn content creator, I have a YouTube content creator. It doesn't mean that I did not create my content at all, but if I used to spend 10 hours in creating weekly content, now I spend only 1 hour. Okay. Similarly, like every morning, I want to stay updated in AI. Very simple problem that I'm telling you, right? I want to know about what's going on in AI every morning. So I used to go on different TechCrunch, Crunchbase, search what is new and see what are the news over there. We have built this AI agent, daily news AI agent. It sends me on my Telegram. Let me show you. You would love it. So, and it was a task, and sometimes I was able to do it, sometimes I was not able to do it. Every morning, it collects AI-related news, exactly what I want to know. Also from Twitter, like what Sam Altman said, Elon Musk said about new AI tools and everything. And it sends me the recording. I get up, I plug in my earphone, and just while walking in 20 minutes in the morning, I get to know about AI, and I'm the most updated person I can say. And if I show you how it looks like, and you'll see every day it comes around like 6 a.m.
AI generated summaries for private messages. This news comes under update to existing tool category. Overview. WhatsApp has introduced a new feature that utilizes Meta's AI to generate summaries of unread messages in private chats. This feature aims to help users.
Right? So I don't have to go and search what will like this, plug in earphone and done. And while listening this, I tell my AI agent that out of all these news, I want to create a LinkedIn post today on Tesla's launch of robotaxi. And then it creates and makes my LinkedIn post on that. Okay, so that's the power of AI I'm telling you in different domains, right? And it's applicable even for recruitment categories. So coming back to our NNA platform. So similarly, we have for my HR team, here are my live agents that are working right now for my internal account. Okay, so for example, I have a resume scoring for it, which all of you mentioned, which I will show you today. Okay, we have a hiring workflow analyzer. Whenever we get behavioral questions, responses in video format. We get evaluated by this agent. And also for sourcing, we are creating. Okay, plus some of the tools that are still in development. But these are 5 agents which are currently working for us. Now, let me show you that one agent that we created. Let me just show you here. Resume evaluation. Okay. So now to create any agent, okay, as we promised that you're going to learn something. So our objective is that you start learning how to create an agent. So you have created a free account on nnet.io. Okay, everyone, whenever you'll create it, okay. Now, to create your very first AI agent, all you need to do is to click on the create workflow on the top right. By the way, we are going to send you all these details later on, okay? So don't worry about that. So you can always click on create workflow, and that will take you to a blank canvas. The way we paint anything, that's how you will start creating AI agents. Now, to do different actions, we need to add different components. You remember we talked about memory, we talked about tools, we talked about, what was the third thing? Sorry?
Email
No, tools, memory, and the brain.
for the brain.
That, right? So first of all, I'm going to add an AI agent. So what is it? So simply click on this plus search for AI agent, and you'll get the AI agent over here, and simply over it. Okay. Now, as you can see, it is asking me for the chat model, which is brain. It is asking me for memory. It is asking me for the tool. Okay. As we added AI agent over here, by clicking on the plus icon, we can add all the remaining items by clicking on this plus icon. Daniel portrayed it really, really well this afternoon. What Daniel search tools on the left hand side, and you will get the action on the, sorry, on the right hand side, and action on the left hand side.
Right. And the same thing when you learn too, when you go into these things, that you'll be able to see input on the left-hand side and output on the right-hand side. So you'll have the node that you're working on. He'll show you this to you. You saw it briefly. So he'll bring up the node that has, you know, your authentication or your certification, so you can log into your Slack or log into your ATS or whatever it is. And you can learn and test that section of the workflow and see where the data is coming in and what data is going out from the brain that you mentioned.
You'll be able to see it. Yeah.
So what's that when chat message received?
Yeah. So again, you remember the leftmost part of that image, user query?
Yes.
User, so this is the chat message that I will give it as a user.
Oh.
This is a trigger.
This is the
Okay.
trigger.
It's a trigger. Okay, so this could be a new email, a new Gmail.
It can be
It could
a,
be, a new Slack message. It could be a webhook. So something from a website. You can literally, you can make it anything you want. And so like, for instance, you'll see in the examples, we're gonna be using Gmail. I have it checked every hour, every day, the last 3 days, whatever. So you can set that trigger. And the best thing about this, folks, if you're learning this stuff and where to go, you can do it yourself. You don't need a programmer. You don't need any other stuff. You can change all of these aspects, your search, the prompt. You can change that yourself. Go ahead. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
so now you add all these components. Now in today's session, I'm not going to show you like how to add all these components, because then it will be like a 2-hour session. But to add all the components over here, simply click on this, and when you want to add memory, search for memory, and you'll get the memory over here. Okay. So look, you'll get the chat memory trigger. When you want to add a Gmail person, search Gmail, so you can add Gmail. When you want to add brain, which we talked about large language model, you want to add OpenAI.
There you go.
So you'll get the OpenAI brain here, right? If you want to use Google's brain, which is Gemini, you can search Google Gemini. And you click, so very simple. You click on it and it will be added. Okay. Now, let's go back to our ready to go agent, which is over here. Okay. So in this agent, as you see, we have a Gmail node because we are looking at all the emails that we receive in our Gmail with resumes. So we have added Gmail over there. The second file is extract from Gmail because it is pulling all the information from the Gmail to analyze how much score it want to give.
But
Right.
just suppose it,
Huh?
other resumes don't come into Gmail, they come into Greenhouse.
So
Okay, this is just that example. But you can add Greenhouse just easily to this, any workflow, the way you add Gmail,
So,
okay, or you add Slack. Or, you know, I know Greenhouse definitely has an app in it. So it just would be on you.
here is one, so when we provide like training for AI agents, right? So there is 100%, you'll also need to learn a few things, right? When you ask this question, whenever we want to integrate or like with any third-party website, for example, it can be Greenhouse, Liver, or any, there is a concept called API. You may have heard about it, right? So you also need to learn about, okay, how API work and how you simply copy paste a URL and make it happen. But yes, through API, you can connect through different platforms and you can pull resumes from there.
Not LinkedIn. Not LinkedIn.
Yeah, LinkedIn doesn't provide an API. So whichever platform provides you an API, you can do that. But we also found a solution for
Get around.
platforms who do not provide API. What you can do, we create an agent that download all those resumes from that particular platform, upload them into a Google Drive, and that's where you can access. You just need to like think a little bit about it. Okay, so we have added Gmail node, extract from file because it is extracting all the information from the Gmail, and then it goes into an AI agent, which is the brain of it. And here in this AI agent, as we all give a prompt in our chat GPT, we have given a prompt over here. Can you see this?
Yeah, I just want to mention this is the system prompt, right?
And then to jump into that. But as you give instruction to ChatGPT, we have given simple instruction here. Like evaluate this resume for a data scientist role on whatever criteria. And I've defined the first criteria is candidate must have 3 years of experience. Second criteria is machine learning. These skills should be there. So you can always come and change it for whatever role. And even you can have like multiple roles, multiple criteria. Okay.
But this is you, everybody writes like this. Anybody can write like this.
Right? So this is when you simply guide this AI agent.
This is what we're talking about, no code.
One very important concept here, guys, where I made big mistake at the beginning of my journey. So there were a lot of courses on prompt engineering. Have you heard about these courses on prompt engineering?
Yes.
Like how to write. Like prompt is nothing but you go in and you type simple English. Why any course is needed? And I was so wrong there. When we created agents and Daniel, when we were configuring that one agent for Daniel, we saw that writing a prompt, guys, you need to be absolutely comfortable.
Okay, thank you.
It's a very
No, thank you.
right? So when you write prompts, right? I mean, there are some technical ways to write a better prompt, and you will see that writing a prompt in the way ChatGPT wants to hear that prompt completely transforms the output. So simple language, but written in a ChatGPT format. And again, that's not a very lengthy or tough code. It's just 5 guidelines, simple guidelines that you need to follow. But that is prompt engineering, and that's another like 1 hour session. But that is super important to relate.
So if I could interject, most of the prompts and agents that I took from someone else, or I took from other workflows and tweaked it for what I need.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that. There are plenty of workflows that already exist. So the example that he showed in sales, you can easily transform a lot of those sales lead generation to be recruiting sourcers. It's the same principle.
So in this one, the final one, we are saving all this information in Google Sheet. You can save it anywhere, Airtable or any other platform, wherever you want. Okay. Now, here, if you see, my email ID, highcomfort.com is integrated. I'll show it to you how it will review current resumes, and I'll also let me also open the Google Sheet. This one.
Do you see what we were talking about before? Do you see where it says JSON and these codes and stuff like that? You give yourself just a little bit of time.
Yeah.
If you know what a variable is, a lot of times that shows up over here in the input field. And you literally can pick the variable, the field, the data that you want and drag it into these things and add other things in simple English. And it writes and does all this JSON stuff for you. Sorry, do it.
So you don't have to do this coding part. It's all drag and drop, right? When we jump deep into it. So this is my Google Sheet, which is empty right now. Now let me run this agent, okay? So I'll simply click. And by the way, I'm manually triggering it here, but you can also make it like automated, run like every 1 minute, 2 minutes in the background. So look, whichever part, so right now, the OpenAI chat model, it's reviewing the resume, okay? And when it will go to Google Sheet, so now it is saving information to Google Sheet. On the bottom right, you see workflow executed successfully. So it checked the hire@highcounselor.com, and whichever resumes we received since this morning, it will evaluate.
Really quick, notice the 5, and there'll be 5.
5 resumes, okay? And here I can see the score for it. Okay, and again, this is just a demo example, okay, but you can tweak it, make it whatever the way you want. Okay. So that's one example of how this AI agent can review 5 resumes to 500 resumes to 5,000 resumes, or become your personal assistant to review resume all the time. Okay, this is the power of AI agent. Daniel, would you like to show your inbox?
Yeah, can't wait.
Okay, let me connect my Zoom and will share screen, because we actually implemented this for that. Right? We're like, okay, I mean, it should work for you. Let's do it. Okay, so then join my Zoom and I'll share my screen so that people can share. You can share you need to share your screen so that
Yes.
you can see.
Waiting for host to start the meeting.
I have started the meeting just now. And then Daniel will also show you People GPT, which he has been using. He's a big fan of.
This is where we're also going to talk about the whole community thing. I hope to be able to I demo a product every week, something new every week. And I want to be able to,
Let me.
good? Okay, cool.
You need to also
Share us, yeah. And folks, one last thing, if I can do this, sharing is not turned on. If I can do this, you can do this. I am no different than you. If you know, look at my LinkedIn profile, I'm not any different than you. So if I can do this, you can do this. 2 weeks, okay? All right, now, where are we? Share your screen.
Now you should be able to do it.
All right, so this is my workflow.
No, you need to share, you need to share. Not share.
No, not doing it. Oh, I remember, sorry, I'm feeling sick, I remember like this. Okay. You see it now?
No, it's coming up. Slow.
Okay. Shows, share.
Randy has started sharing the your screen. No.
Oh, you still stop that shit, sorry.
Maybe it's my bigger screen.
No, I messed up. No, actually, it wasn't me, it was Zoom, it wasn't responding. All right, gonna make this quick. Hope we can make this quick.
Oh,
Come on, baby.
yes.
All right, this is our workflow. And this is important so that you understand too. We talked about this, especially when you start off. When you're messing around with it and playing with it yourself, I recommend little tasks, little bits first. Little icons, little screen workflows like this. This actually, what this workflow up here does when I click on it, in the spreadsheet, I add the LinkedIn job URL, which has the number, the job number in it. When I push that little execution button there at the top, it goes through the spreadsheet, it scraps the job description from the published job URL, the LinkedIn job, the candidates, the one the candidates see, the public one. And then it extracts the data and then it adds it to the spreadsheet. It uses that spreadsheet here in this workflow. And then we have other workflows that are down here for backup. So you can actually have all of this in this one workflow space, okay? I guess they call that what do they call that? That canvas, on one canvas, okay? So let me show you, I know he loves this. This is my inbox. Okay. And all of you know that there are tools out there now that will tell the candidate whether they match the job description. All of these people that are in my inbox are going to rate about a 3.2 out of 10. Sadly, So this is a huge waste of my time and my space in my inbox. So let's just cut to the chase and do the workflow. Now, we have it up to a limit, because again, it would take us too much time to go through all those resumes. So it's only gonna look through, I think, the first 5 that have gotten in within the last so many minutes. So there it goes. And by the way, these other loops that are in here, we've developed these. Because there were exceptions. One of our best examples were, we set it up for Word docs, DOCKX, and PDF files. We were running it, something threw a horseshoe in the middle of it and threw the whole workflow out and all of the stuff. And what it was not the workflow at all. It was the document the candidate sent. They sent an old Word DOC doc.
I think 2000 version, for which the work.
And that caused it to stop. And what do we do? Not we, the folks we were working with, also a catch, by the way, for the recording, even over here where it goes back, okay? These are exceptions. If for any reason there's a problem, either a boo-boo, whatever may happen, if there's something comes up that does not work, it doesn't stop, it will then go back, alert us to whatever the problem was, and then it continues on. So it's just like he showed you in his spreadsheet that he uses. Here's my spreadsheet, but let me tell you what I do.
Here's why I got it by the top school.
Yes. So right here is that, and by the way, the best part about it is, so let's say my manager, top schools usually for us is the top 10 schools listed on the US News and Report level of schools for computer science or engineering or whatever the job was relevant for that job. So I can go into the, and by the way, here really quick, let's just use this example. So here's a 9. This is the candidate again that matches this job description, because again, right now I have this going through more than one job. But right now it's concentrating on the back-end engineer new grad job, okay? But it gives me a rating score and it tells me whether that, it gives me other stuff, which is wonderful and all that other stuff, but this is what I look at. Total score, top school, total score, top school. And you do the usual stuff in a spreadsheet, you do it by that, those 2 columns, and the top people come to the top. I don't deal with the other people, and then when I run it again the next time, it clears out the spreadsheet, gives me the next list of candidates that I want, okay? So what's the important thing here is this agent, just like he mentioned, that evaluates the resumes, okay? This is amazing. This saves me so much time, even with just the look that I have to do. You know, we've all done it. Bring the resume up real quick, then like the 10-second search, go to the next one. 10-second search, okay, I like this one because I'm sticking on this one a little bit. We'll do something with this, I'm sending an email. We can then immediately auto-populate emails. Thank you for submitting. What's the salary expectations? And I can do that via cell, a website, or email. Okay? And I know how to do all of that now. By whether I put in a different trigger or all that other kind of stuff. And this is what we were talking about earlier. So this was the first thing we did pretty much was, and by the way, did you get this from another resource or did you create this all yourself?
No, we just create it also.
Okay, so there are plenty of them. I went to another conference earlier today, a company called UniPath, but they have resume agents like this that already exist, just plug and play it, put it in. Okay, oh, actually, we have one now too, because you published this. Yeah, so there's now one on NDA, okay? So you can just take this. And again, like I said, from these other examples and other classes that I've been taking and stuff, you'll see it like a YouTube video or something that you recreate and you're doing in the tutorial, and it's a sales example, or it might be whatever, but you can see how, oh, I could use this in recruiting. I can just change that from a sales thing to a recruiting thing, and basically it's some name changes. And the best thing too about the workflow, you change these labels. So like if there's something specific about that loop that says, go through each one of the resumes and count how many of them went to the top schools. And I want to add that in that loop or add a loop in there to do it. I can call it the loop for the number and the calculation of top school candidates. And it would be right there. So always remember, and by the way, you can always put notes, little sticky notes and stuff, anywhere you want to put them. Just like from the software folks do, when they do code and stuff like that, so they can, someone else wants to pick up the workflow, do something with it or whatever. You can just add notes relevant to whatever is going on in that flow. Okay, so did I do good about that? Did we keep talking?
Just one more thing that I want to add. Guys, important thing that we need to understand here is, suppose if we give you this workflow today, right? And it works great for you, say for the next 1 month. I'm 100% sure that you would come up with like, okay, there is one new requirement or one more thing that I would like this agent to have. And if you are not skilled at making that change by yourself, you look for someone who can do that. Yeah, that's why learning to build AI agents is important rather than just available agents and use it for one of your tasks. Yeah, that's why upskilling yourself is super important rather than, okay, there are so many workflows available on Anytech. By the way, when you go to Anytech, just search for workflows. It will give you 2,500 workflows, and I've also added some of the public workflows there. You can plug and play there, but I can guarantee that, Brian, some challenges that are challenges for you, some things may not be challenged for maybe Radhika, right? Or maybe not be for you, Lily. So everyone's life is different. So learning AI agent, how to build them, that is important.
Yeah, one of the things, my favorite thing to do, especially in a workbench that I kind of created, is going and getting somebody else's workflow, trying to dissect it. What's the worst thing? Because it's not active, it's not connected to anything that I really care about. Mess it up. You know what I mean? Just don't hit the save button or start over again. Okay, go ahead.
Is there a limit on the number of processes?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. That's a big.
Because you've got this new
There's a
repository.
cost. There's a cost.
You've got this new scoreboard, which is essentially a new repository. Now I want to take action on this distilled repository.
All right, so this is what we're gonna say. I said the same thing to Chris, because Chris is in a situation where he's in a contract role, which most likely will land him a full-time permanent gig, but they want to test and try before they buy type of a thing, okay? So there's a trial membership for you to start off with, okay? Give examples to your employer and stuff like that, because what you need is the enterprise package. You need the full package, okay? Us enterprise people, because we have deals with tons of data, unstructured and structured. Resumes are structured data, direct data, but unstructured data as well. So with most of those things with the platform, you'd need your employer to back it up, because otherwise, but you can simulate using the standard. But so okay, so I've been to these things and I always ask about cost first. Some people get ticked off at me because I ask about how much right off the bat. Like, so everything we've showed you right now, I've been able to do on the standard plan, which is $29 a month. Yeah, and I set a limit because I get a token every time it reviews a resume. Okay, so when it does that analysis of the resume, that's one token on OpenGPT, on OpenAI. Okay, so I set a limit with all of these of $20. So that, and I'm still doing okay. I have not hit my $20 limit yet, but I did get a warning 2 days ago that I'm getting close.
It's
Okay.
very low. And also, for example, if you don't have to review like 1,000 resumes in a day, right?
We'll talk about that in a bit. If you don't mind, I want to show you these two other things and then we can then open it up and get you guys, hopefully, if anybody wants to be early. All right, so this is ChatGPT. I can't show you like the general platform and all this stuff because I actually have active clients and information going on in here. Okay, so I brought up one, which is an older one that I did a long time ago and I reactivated. And it's just a very general search engine that I made to find candidates with active security clearances, okay? If you're doing data analyst, what all this stuff, I think the job title I'm actually doing here is an architect team lead. So it's your same job description, just remove the security clearance. One thing this does for me right away is not only eliminating a LinkedIn recruiter account, which by the way, we're on LinkedIn recruiter for this, so we love LinkedIn recruiter. And you still know, okay, anyway, but you can download information from LinkedIn Recruiter and use all this stuff. Anyway, this is People GPT, okay? I can just start a new project. I can add the job description as an attachment, or just type it in there, or you can talk to it just like you would ChatGPT right here. So these are my prior ones that I've been doing in Europe, speak German, blah, 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 Australia. And literally we'll go out and create the content. So I'm gonna go back over to here and show you the one that I have. So this is for an architect, team lead, software engineer, manager, Colorado Springs, etc. 8 years worth of experience. I've shown Brian. I use this all the time. If they're in my shortlist or I've already reviewed them, I don't want to see them again. So let it go by. Here's the locations, 25 miles, whatever. Here are the job titles. I love this. Time spent in the current role or time average tenure. We'll talk about, I'll show you that in the profiles, but I love that. I love to point that out to hiring managers. Longevity, employment history is very important. You can list companies. For here, I have pre-selected some companies here spanning. So if I want only fan companies, they're already predetermined for me, and I apply only the preset. No one with a fan company is going to have the security clearances, so it's gonna go by. Anyway, I can exclude companies, including my own competitors, and you can save it, so you never have to worry about it again. Save it once. Company industries. So big thing with security clearance people right now because of DOD and all kinds of stuff. They're not putting their security status and all stuff on their resumes anymore. Not on LinkedIn, anything like that anymore, because they're a target. Okay, so now I got to figure out who's got a security clearance that doesn't put it on their LinkedIn or their resume. So what I do is I look for companies that are in there, like Lockheed Martin or Grumman, especially, or I find other military defense firms which are based in Colorado Springs. And by the way, you can ask OpenGPT for that. Okay? And you can even find them here, I'm sure you know it. But I do usually use this industry, military, aviation, aero, and space defense. Just like you do in those same categories in LinkedIn, if I'm not mistaken. The same one.
Also seek out.
I'm sorry?
Seek out. Seek out.
What about CCAP?
I think so they also have a lot like this.
That's fine, but again, not like, this is $129, and this is their bigger account. They have one for 100. And I have not ever, not once, because I had to do a big security clearance, blah, blah, blah thing. I ran out in like the last week of May. I was almost out, and when I got the warning, it just was a little bit more select of what things I sent out or what searches I did. But I have not yet run out of the search whatsoever yet that I've had a problem. Okay?
So this is,
And-
this is token driven search?
No, yes, but I have not, run out of too many at all. And usually what I have had, if you contact the people that work there, by the way, they're giving a discount. So I'm gonna have tomorrow on the associated, I'm gonna show you called Fetch Talent. They give a good, really good discount, like 40%, 30% discount on people if you use the code or the web that I'm gonna send you. So, and each one of these, by the way, have a trial membership. Okay? So here's the good old skills that you use. There's even generic ones like back-end engineer, front-end engineer, stuff like that. This is the stuff that I like, because we do specialize in startups. So we often, most candidates that will want to consider a startup is somebody who's also worked for another, Y company, another kind of startup or other. But in this circumstance, here, look, Rhodes Scholar, okay? VP back founder or VP fast career growth. These are things you can select, predetermined. And there's also in here likely to show startup experience, but there's also some promoted. I love all of these. There's diversity there. Want to just point that out. But there was another one that I use all the time. But again, I'm going very quickly. So in this circumstance, this client wants top secret and they want polygraph test. If they don't have the poly and they have the top secret, they'll do the poly. So it's there. Here's some other options. Here's university. One of the first things you'll learn is what's called nesting. So you can go by Stanford, in here. I pre-selected. I have top 10 security schools, and there they are. And they're pre-set. You can go in anytime I want. And what you can do is, let's say, bachelor's. So I have a client. Doesn't matter if they have a master's degree, blah, blah, blah. They want the bachelor's. Only the bachelor's from the top schools. So I can have just the bachelor's. I can do bachelor's or above, or I can do only bachelor's. And that's what I want. I can fit the scale of the skill so that they don't want anything else but computer science. And I want it nested. So that gives me, I'm only going to get Stanford, Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon, MIT candidates with a bachelor's in these disciplines. And again, you can always write a good old Boolean search string if you know, okay? So I have to move some things so I can get out of this.
So this tool is also an example of AI toolkit. Because on the back end, it is using ChatGPT to analyze all the profiles and giving you all these options.
Okay, so getting to, this is the email campaigns, okay? It will then go out, oh, one more thing I want to go. So here's these candidates that have found, here's Ryan. And here is, you know, you can reveal both the phone and the email address, and it takes one token to do that. But why do that? Here's the LinkedIn profile. And if I can hit him up on LinkedIn if I want to. If my boss is stingy, if I got a good budget and stuff like that, I'll get the phone number, do all that right away and start texting. Same thing too, now that I know this information from here in Jukebox, I will show you, it does the automated email. But let's say I want, when these emails go out, I'm gonna show you, they go out of my inbox, okay? So I'm gonna say, I could write a workflow that says every email that just went out of my inbox, I want you to add it to the ATS. And I want you to include the LinkedIn profile. Okay, so it'll be able to download the name, the phone number, and the email address. And then I can create a workflow that says, add it to the ATS greenhouse. And I don't have to do it, it does it. Okay, and I'd be able to go into the greenhouse and it's exactly that thing that we're looking for. Now, let me show you something really quick. This is a candidate summary. Did you see how quickly that happens? Okay, let me show you this. This AI powered spotlight, I get information in here. I share this with my hiring managers all the time. It sends details that I probably would never have thought of. Okay, and it's not coming from the deep, you know, the resume, so it actually deduced that Ryan led the development of automated test records and robust CI/CD pipeline for Northrop Grumman. Okay. Added other details, cut and paste, put it in it now. The other thing I also show, here it shows about the security clearance, but it will also show other highlights here for other candidates. Here, total professional experience in current tenure. My managers love this. They don't have to look at LinkedIn profile, they don't have to look how many years, this, that, and the thing. Will this person stick around? The tenure will tell you, their employment history says they will. They usually stay at a job at least 3 years. On average, it's 2+, 2.5. So there's plenty of data. Let me show you the last step before you go. Okay, so that's enough of this. And I will promise you, if you start using ChatGPT, you will find yourself less dependent on a lot of other ones, which are much more expensive. This is the other one I want to show you really.
ChatGPT or People GPT?
People GPT, I apologize, my mistake. Okay, and the other one that I want to show you really quick. Again, we're gonna have, here it is. Okay, so this is called Fetch Talent AI. You were talking about your text assessments and stuff like that from HackerRank and all that other stuff. These folks have those assessments for you, okay? This is one in Tableau. I'm gonna talk over the actual presentation and stuff like that. They're working on the avatars for this. This is gonna be, this example is a talking bot, okay? This is a person, this is a real person. So this is the interviewee, okay? And I'm gonna, is there a way I can speed this up? Okay.
For the Tableau developer position, how are you doing today?
And this is $30, something like that a month. $30 a month.
Thank you. I see you're currently working as a senior business intelligence engineer at Nordstrom. How's your experience been so far?
Thank you for coming. Good to see you again. All right, so let me play on, okay? But what's very nice about this for me personally, so that you all know. I'm sorry, I was leaving the off button in the wrong place. But what is very nice is this assessment. And what's very nice about this is that the candidates get this too. When do you have candidates always say, oh, I submit my resume, it goes into the black hole, I never get any feedback, blah, 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 blah. Here's your feedback. Some of them may not like it when they find out that their resume and their qualifications is a 3.2 out of 10. But here's the reason why. Now, one other thing too, I forgot to mention in his thing that he made. I'm sorry, my place. No. Okay, that spreadsheet he was talking about over here. This is what we were all talking about, you know, oh, I don't code, I don't know anything about code, I'm code, blah, 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 blah. This is JSON. But the best thing about this is the reason. This tells me why either the candidate was a 9 or a 10 or a 2, and this shows what was the percentage. You don't have to be a software programmer. Yeah, there are little curvy things and commas in places and all this stuff, but you know what this is. You can read this, right? Do you get what it's doing? And it's in English. Candidate was matched all requirements, blah, blah, blah. Projects were done, da, da, da. And in this particular one, if the candidate comes across giving an attitude, okay? If the candidate's not having eye contact with the screen, if they're cheating, they're using a phone or looking at another, they open up another tab, another window or whatever, it detects all that stuff. And you get all that in the rate. So I could add fetch talent to this. It would make another column. And have matched the data from all this other stuff that's coming in from the resume stuff, and then match it to what the fetch talent interview said. And I would be getting all those leads, the candidates in the first place. Probably I could easily add the ones coming in from People GBT into this too. They're gonna come in my inbox, so they're gonna be evaluated through this anyway, because they're gonna send me the resume in the inbox. And I can change it. So when my jobs change, I can change it. All I gotta do is add the public LinkedIn job list. That's all I gotta do in a spreadsheet. I'm sure we all can do that. And by the way, he's gonna give you all of these. Okay, are you gonna show them the junk one?
Yeah.
Let's show the junk one, and then we're done. I think we're done, right? So I'll show you Fetch BDT on Eventbrite, again, with the thank you note for you guys coming and stuff like that. I will share not only these leads, but the discount codes if you decide to sign up. Always do the trial thing first. Go to your peers, sell it, and tell them, hey, there's a discount code for the first year. Let's do this, okay? Let's show them the next one. I can get the Zoom.
So guys, I think it might be like too much for all of you, like on just 1 hour of session, right? I mean, it took me like 6 to 9 months, even coming from a tech background, to get up to speed on all these items. But the idea is like, I was not aware of People GPT ever until like Daniel told us, right? Because recruitment was never my focus. But when I looked at it, and for my company, I LinkedIn Recruiter account, we pay $12,000 every year. So,
By the way, People GBT is made by Juicebox, and Juicebox is based in San Francisco. Same thing. They believe just as much as NAN and DJ and community. Without community, none of these things would work. Okay? People, ChatGPT depends on their recruiter community to make it what it is today. All the improvements, all the stuff you see came from recruiter input in their community. Same thing with NAN. All of these things, Jita has actually posted on their site. So if you go and look at templates or, workflow, existing workflows in 8.8n, you'll see his contributions there. Sales and marketing, you'll see his contributions there. But you'll see thousands of other people who have posted and shared things. I said, one more thing, a hackathon. A hackathon on these things are not what you and I think are hackathons. You just need to bring a business premise, a solution, a problem that you want to see. And these people in 2 days in a hackathon will work with you and make it work. I'm not joking. I saw examples in the last NAN. Yesterday, there was an NAN local community meetup at a place down in the Tenderloin area on 6th Street. That's a thing there. Great location, great facility, but not great location. But I saw 3 people who were winners of those hackathons that never coded in their life. One of them made something called an Access for Plaid, which is a financial platform, which literally, if he gets it approved on the N8N platform, he'll make a revenue generated out of it. And it only requires 4 nodes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Never coded in his life, but he comes from the finance world. He knew what Plaid was and how to get access to it and what he could do with it, how to get the credentials to get the right access and authentication and stuff. But everything you can think of that you can get out of a bank app, he now has in a workflow, and he's making it available to people. Okay? So that's just an example that I saw. Another one was a kid had to deal with his mother who was sick, and he made an app in a day that will look at the local hospitals, who takes her insurance, and it's not just her insurance, any insurance. And we'll tell you what's the best way, what's your pain level, and what's the first thing you should do based on that pain. We should go to ER, here's the directions, and it comes back on the phone. So you answer, I'm feeling this, I feel a little heart, chest pain, blah, blah, blah. Never coded in his life. He won the hackathon and got like 10 grand for doing it. So there were business owners in these meetings. There were independent contractors. There were people who had never even had any clue about what machine learning is and artificial intelligence, other what those, that they're 4 words. And they were able to do things. This place has a phenomenal support community. I'll give one last example. When I first started off, I was having problems getting started because I had other things like Grammarly and my Capital One credit card discount code and all those other hotkeys and all that other stuff that was in my browser, and it was causing a problem. I never thought about it. Of course, it's very common when you bring it up, but I never thought about it. And I posted in the community as easy as I can't get it to do anything. Within like a couple of minutes, I had 8 answers. Do this, do this, do this, and they were all right. And it worked. So I can't say enough about the community. And it's the same thing too. I bring it up because we as a team, I would like each and every one of you, if you can come back to the next one, to bring a friend with you, another recruiter. How about this? You have a kid, a youngin', a teenager, high school, college student that doesn't know anything about machine learning. Bring them with you. As long as they're, I don't care if they're this big, as long as they're polite and they'll be sitting here and learn, bring it, okay? But we will need to build this community. I want to share one last thing before we go on. I want to share my pain, okay? I shared this with Brian a little bit. I messed up with people GPT, okay? I forgot to show in the example too, by the way. When you set those things up and all that other stuff, you can put them on autopilot. You don't have to sit there and keep looking for the same people. I could have that thing looking for security. I'm always looking for somebody with security clearance. I have government contracting companies. It doesn't care what they do. Even if they're lacking certain skills, they don't care. If you have the level of security clearance, they'll teach you Python. They'll get the polygraph. They'll do something, okay? There's always, because those jobs are hard to fill. So I always, those things come up great. So anyway, so I got a new job back with the security clearance, and I also reactivated some older ones, so I wanted to show them to you. So I wasn't showing my active current client base and what I'm doing with them. So I reactivated these old workflows. Well, my new one that I had for the security clearances was maybe about 400, 500 emails it was supposed to send out. Well, that's fine. But I forgot that in my active inflows, I have always a 3-tiered email campaign. So there's the initial one with the least, more detail the second, the closer, thank you, okay, fine. Well, the 400 for the new job, I don't know how many from the workflow of the second and third round of those email trails from the other ones have been doing in the week. And because I reactivated those projects, I forgot that there were autopilot autopilot searches and all of those too. So I was doing something like 20,000 email notes in one day. And I got flagged by Google, and I got literally, because my account got disabled this morning for about 2 hours until my admin, who's based in India, woke up and fixed it for me. So lesson learned. Same thing like the lesson that we told you about with the simple doc, DOC, an old file. First of all, what does that tell me? If somebody is sending me a resume and they're a data architect or a data scientist, and they're still working with a 2000 whatever version of Word, I don't think I want to hire that person. If you're a tech person, why do you have such an ancient, why? So that was something, again, we learned to build this flow, this turnaround, these exceptions, those things into the workflow. I'm gonna let him show, this is an amazing tool to get junk out of your inbox.
So this AI agent, right? And I think we've given a lot of information today, right? And I believe in like learning at a slow pace, at a like comfortable pace. So I won't go deep into it, but one of my pain point was even after adding all those filters in my Gmail, where I wanted to remove those old marketing sales emails, right? Every morning my email was filled with like so many of those emails, and I could lose focus on the important ones. And the simple labeling of the filters in Gmail did not work. So we created this AI agent. What this AI agent does, I have defined in this AI agent over here. Can you classify this one? This is basically an AI agent. And this one I've defined that if this type of emails are spam emails for me or useless emails for me. That's what I call it. Useless emails. I've defined it. Okay. And now this agent, as you can see in my inbox, it is marking all these emails from backstage says 64 new rules available or like mail to daily report or whatever can be connected today. All these type, it's marking as useless. So I simply go click on useless and delete all of them.
And again, we talked about the human factor in this. You keep it as useless in the inbox until you feel comfortable enough. And then when the time comes, you can change it. So that it's no longer just in your inbox, it goes to that useless folder. And then if you want to double check, go to the useless folder. If for me, I just send you the trash can.
So there is a concept of human in the loop, right? That we are not there, that we can completely make it blind, right? And we can let just AI work. So that's why. Otherwise, we can also make it like, okay, whichever email is useless is deleted, right? Or archive it. So this is a very simple example. Now you may think that this looks super complex, okay? And that's where took some upskilling and some knowledge gaining is certainly required. Okay, if somebody tells you that okay, in 7 days I'll make you an expert in building AI agents or learning about key AI tools, that would be wrong. Okay, you need time to learn about it. Also, you need some training and knowledge so that you can build stuff. For example, if you come from a non-tech background, you definitely know what does this loop means, right? Or what's the role of this particular loop. You would not know what does the markdown note performs, right? In what type of scenarios you need to implement this. So that all comes under the training for this AI agent part, right? And that's all you need to understand. What are the tools available and what's the meaning of all these nodes, when to use them at absolutely no code, right? I come from a tech background, so I knew all of these, right? But when I started implementing these for non-tech people, I understood, okay, this is how we need to create the training. And that's when we started providing this agentic AI training to a lot of businesses that are funded, say, up to $100 million to their sales team, marketing, HR, and operation. All those people come from non-tech background. So for recruiters, we created this training.
Not that one.
It's the network here. Okay. So specifically for recruiters, we created this 2 months of AI training program where we take you right from scratch. In 8 weeks, we teach you fundamentals of AI agents, as I told you, about like 3 components of AI agents, right? And then we start building very small AI agents until to a little bit complex. And when you see all these people, like they are all, so we zoom in a little bit. So all these people belong to AI world, right? Usha, she sets the AI standards at AIEEE. She worked at McKinsey for many, many years as an AI leader. Then she works currently at McKinsey. Rajdeep is from Microsoft. He's from Dell. Raman works at Google. he works at BCBS in Ruchi. She is one of the top influencers in AI community right now on LinkedIn. If you go, and she works at Amazon. So we have all been in touch for a very, very long time. So we all sat together and created a very comprehensive yet to the point program. And as I said, it is 8 weeks program. So as you can see, in the very first week, we cover. Let me zoom in. So you can see better. Yeah. So in very first week, we cover the introduction of AI agents on what is large language models, everything that you need to know. Second week, we start helping you build what are the single agent AI system, very small ones. Then the multi-agent AI system, like 2 to 3 agents working together. And then RAG-based agents, again, these all might be very technical terms to you, but you can think it like a stepping stone. Simple agent, a little bit complex, a little more complex to take you to the next level. And all these agents that we built in this training, all of them are related to recruitment. So for example, job sourcing, resume screening, right? To improve your productivity. And after building these AI agents for 4 weeks, we cover a session on how to build AI agents responsibly and ethically. Because that is super important when you work at a good organization that have a lot of compliances as well. So learning this also puts you in a very good spot. And in the last 3 sessions, we cover what are the important AI tools as People GPT, Daniel covered today, right? We told you about Gamma. That's how there are new tools coming up. And we continue reviewing hundreds of every new tool that comes to the market, and we analyze, okay, these are the top existing tools in this category. Is this better than these ones, right? So we have those most updated tools that you need to aware, and we provide you training on all those tools, how to use them really, really well. And there's an 8-week of training program that we have designed specifically for recruiter. We have given it to a lot of companies. I think I told you I moved from Miami just last week here to the group event. Specifically in Miami, like people do not belong to tech at all. Trust me. Like, even companies who have raised like $100 million, their staff is not technical at all. We upskill them in building AI agents and learning key AI tools so that they can improve their productivity.
Can I just interject one thing really quick? Put that back up if you don't mind. Okay. Some of these things you're learning, by the way, if you're a recruiter like I am, the way that I think, not only are you learning how to do all this stuff, doesn't this help you learn and know more about your own job title, job description? So any of us look for a machine learning or artificial intelligence engineer? Any of us ever had to look for a prompt engineer? Now you know what a prompt engineer is a little bit better? You would know. So you're going to be able to talk to a hiring manager because you will have hands-on knowledge.
For tech roles, it is going to be super helpful for you. Plus, I think doing your job, and I have seen a lot of people who used to do a lot of like different type of roles manually. I mean, it's hard to see them getting out of their job. And sooner or later, like this is going to be even more sophisticated. So upskilling in AI is just not optional. Even as a founder of a company, I mean, I think I was telling to Daniel like a few weeks ago when we were on a Zoom call. I was like, my most happiest day at the end of the day when are those when I spent at least 1 to 2 hours learning something. At the end of those days, I feel really empowered that, okay, I've learned something. So I spend like 1 to 2 hours learning AI or whatever in my domain every day. It's not going to happen in 1 or 2 days, not in 1 to 2 weeks, right? That's a wrong expectation. But as I said, if you spend 1 to 2 months, 8 weeks of time, that will be a very good starting for you. And from that, there on, you can catch. Now, a lot of people who have taken this training program, who are already employed, definitely it's for recruiters who are already working, 90% of them utilize their learning and development fund that their companies provided to them. Almost all companies provide up to $5,000 for different upskilling program. It may vary from company to company. I've came across some companies who also provide like up to $700 to $800, right? So check with your company. Your company may provide an upskilling. And if you go to CEO of your company and say, hey, I want to get myself upskilled in AI, that is super important to boost my productivity, and the ROI will come back in 3 to 6 months to my work. The company would be happy to provide you L&D funds for that.
I'll interject with that. you could probably convince the person into it. You can start using the free version for these examples we showed you and use that to pitch it. One last thing I want to add, I'm going to come up here and I can't. A real benefit, a real benefit. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm not a young man. Okay? But when I saw that workflow work the first time, he was here earlier too. I troubleshot and fixed something myself. He was here. I did it myself. Truly, childish joy. Christmas, New Year's, my birthday, everything I ever thought of. I'm red light right now. I was so excited. I felt so much accomplishment and just joy, just pure joy that it worked. And most likely it will continue to work unless I mess it up or something else comes up or I run out of money. Okay? But truly content, I can't even remember that kind of joy of seeing it work.
So guys, we are starting our next cohort early next week from 30th. I would love for you guys to join. And we also have partnered with a financial company called Klarna. So you, by the fees of the program was $1,600, and you
That's
get
not a lot. It really isn't.
mostly it will be covered by your companies if you check with them, but you can also pay this through in monthly installment of $72. So this is when you go and make the
Or
payment.
your employer could pay it at $79 per hour on an expense report.
Yeah. So that's how, but it's the real benefit that we have seen in the business, and I would say that we are at very, very beginning. Trust me, there is, I have a friend, he has already built and sold 3 companies. By the way, this guy, the founder of this company, Middleware, he has already sold like 1 company for a very, very big exit. And I've heard this so many times that the last opportunity, last big wave was in 2015 when crypto was like what, $500 or something like $100, right? That was a big opportunity. After 2015, 2025, AI agents is the next big opportunity. Right? I mean, we are not missing on that wave, and I do not want anyone to miss that wave, right? So, as Daniel mentioned, we are at the beginning to build this community for recruiters in this area. We are going to do events every 2 weeks, one in the city, one in the Bay Area.
No, we're gonna, I'll do one here when you're down there.
Yeah,
So we're gonna try to do once a month here in December.
absolutely.
Now,
Once
we
a
come
month
on.
in city and once a month in the Bay Area.
Couple more things before we get questions, okay? The next N8N community meetup, the free event that I talked about earlier, that was last night, it's gonna be July 7th. Don't worry, I'm gonna share all of this on Eventbrite. That's, by the way, why we need a place. We're gonna have that group on LinkedIn. So I'm gonna start sharing all that stuff. So that's community. The other one, definitely please come to the N8N hackathon. Like I said, it's not your typical hackathon. It's much different. Have a business presence, an idea, a solution you need, something like that, or your credentials for your Skype, your greenhouse. Get the APIs ahead of time, and then bring them to these workshops and the hackathons, and they will help you to build these things. The same community that's on this hackathon, there's a larger, huge community online, global, that are willing to help. That's the other thing you're getting for $25.95 with their, if you do get the standard N8N account. One other thing, there may be other AI training and all that other stuff that's out there. I told you to look at this man's LinkedIn profile. Look at his content that's on the website and stuff like that. His stuff online is fantastic to take. The fact that he's here in person and based in Northern California, we are very, very lucky people. Lucky. And I'm saying $1,600, I'm still paying student loans. You show how you can save and cut back a little bit on LinkedIn or other tools and stuff like that. $1,600 is a penny in the change, and you all know. Okay?
Thank you so much, Brian, for trying. But by the way, guys, on LinkedIn, I try to post one education post every day on AI agents at 9 a.m. in the morning. So if you just follow me on LinkedIn, you'll at least get one education post
Yes.
every month. Thank you.
And remember, follow. Don't send a connection. He can't take them all.
So, but yeah,
That's it, right?
yeah, any question, guys, that we can answer for you, anything that comes to your mind at this point after, and I know it is a lot of information, I cannot consume all at once. You don't need to remember, but I think you have to learn something, but any question that I can answer for you.
I just had a question about the cost. So $72 a month. You said $1,600 for the entire course,
right.
or $72 a month? That doesn't come.
Let me explain. So the entire course cost is $1,600, right? We have a financial partner, Klarna. So when you go to buy this particular course on our website, you'll get the option that either pay $1,600 in total or through Klarna. You'll get like monthly option. You can pay in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, right? So I think the 24 months, monthly installment comes to about $72. So you can choose whichever option you want.
I'm definitely doing it.
So it's through Clark.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'll get this, it is just like you pay, Google Pay, so that's like Klarna is another financial partner. It is sponsored.
Is there a credential in this?
Say it again.
Is there a certification credential? Which is
Yes. If I've disconnected it, I can connect it again, but we provide you certification at the end of this training. That you've completed it, you have completed all the workflows, and you can certainly use it.
And the credential is associated with what?
The tool you're using. So like Gmail, you need a credential to be able to do stuff to the Gmail account. Your ATS, Greenhouse, you need a credential. Slack, you need a credential. That means you're
Not talking
authorized
about-
to use it.
I'm not talking about API.
I get it. You're asking about like certification. credentials.
Certification.
Oh,
Who is behind the certification?
oh,
So we provide the certification to our company, Counselor. And if you see, if you go on my LinkedIn, we are one of the most followed person in AI content creation right now.
So as a potential customer looking at my credentials, what is the impact of high counselor credential?
I mean, when you see it in the industry, I mean, when you go look more than certification, what I would recommend you is that the knowledge matters.
Right.
For example, I can go to Coursera website, right? And by the way, I find this really funny. You can go on Coursera, do an e-course, and for most of the courses, there is no automated evaluation available. You just complete them, and at the end, you get the certification. So we provide you certification that you can put it on your LinkedIn. When people will search, okay, we are looking for people with agentic AI skills, right? They will be able to check that, and every certification you get a number of, okay? Using that number, your employer can come to our website, they can enter that number, and they will be able to evaluate whether you have actually completed those agents or not.
Right.
So we provide you that validation, right? That you're, and you can always say that this is my certification. You can go and see what I have done in terms of AI toolkit as well as AI agents. But you know, personally, I'm not a big fan of certification. Certifications mean nothing if you do not have a knowledge, right? At the end of the day, if you are that confident that you are actually automating your work, that is going to help you out. That will make you super confident sitting in any interview, talking to anyone for your business, and that is the real power, right? So I would say don't do it for certification, but do it for real knowledge and to make your future very secure, very, very secure, right? And again, this is not going to like secure you for forever. Again, I hate making like false promises and giving people wrong ideas. But I think at this point, the training that we have created for recruiters specifically, by the way, we provide very detailed AI generalist training that is like 4 months long, right? But I think for recruiters, this is very apt training that will help you in your job and will be a very good starting point, right? And after that, you can always, as new technology comes in, as everything evolves, you can continue to upskill yourself.
And
Yes.
this will all be in-person training or none of
It
that?
is an in-person training. Not in person like this, but it will be online on Zoom where the live trainers will be available. I take half of the sessions. For other sessions, I bring in all those experts. For example, Usha, who worked at McKinsey currently at IEEE, she takes specifically session on responsible AI, right? How to develop this ethically and responsibly. So all sessions, live trainers will be there. So it's not like a recorded session and you are on your own. We will be there. There will be doubt clearing sessions and we'll be taking you along with it. Yeah, and for all the sessions, recording will be available, so you can watch it later. but I would highly recommend you to join live sessions.
If you need that, in-person type of a thing, we might be able to work with
I'm thinking,
the community.
yeah, I'm thinking about like conducting live training where people can come in the evening. Certainly it's not gonna happen in city because I live in Sunnyvale, right? So, but it's not finalized yet, but I really want to do live training. You know, I'm a developer from background, but I really like teaching and I've done a lot that in the past. It's just that now it seems like it's not very normal, but maybe in a month or two, if we launch our live training program somewhere in Sunnyvale, I'll certainly let you.
So just to let you know, if everything goes well, I propose that we're gonna be demonstrating this at the next NAN community meetup. So we're gonna be showing these and demonstrating them at that meetup. Again, it's July 27th,
And guys,
27th, 23rd, but I'll send it to you.
You're
Okay?
demoing high counselor?
No, we're demoing everything you just saw today.
that specifically, guys, the AI agent that we showed you that can evaluate resumes, like 1,000 resumes in your inbox. I'm not sure if how you're evaluating it, but that's a super powerful tool that can change life of many, many recruiters.
Yeah.
Looking at resume, everything, evaluating, going through your inbox. And I was amazed to see Daniel's inbox. I thought my inbox was cluttered and I created a useless tag agent. But I can never handle that many emails in my inbox. And if that's the life of every recruiter, that must change.
Right.
We should not be spending our time there. And trust me, that agent is super powerful. Super powerful.
And that's what we'll be demonstrating. So if you have other examples, other suggestions, you can communicate with him. You know a better way to better this, make it better.
Yeah,
We want to hear your suggestions so that we can actually build maybe something better to show on July 27th. And he'll tell people you helped contribute to.
yes.
So if we change the trigger out from LinkedIn to say it's an ATS, let's say that you've got all these inbounds coming into Greenhouse from your LinkedIn ad. If you have a Greenhouse API, you have the capability of creating the same agentic workflow.
Yes. And even newer ones, other ones. What's really sad, shouldn't Greenhouse do that in the first place? Isn't what you're paying for?
How do they monetize that?
So we'll talk about that. It also depends, by the way, what license you have, whether you want to make monetary value off what you make. So I heard in certain platforms, if you're using the free version or the community version, you can't sell anything. It's about the licensing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
They brought that up yesterday at one of the meetups. So, yeah, so that's the other thing too about a community. You can learn what you can and cannot do. One of the other things too, like I said, please consider, also again, so if you're playing around with something, you see another, like I said, the example of an existing sales workflow, and you're trying to tweak it so that it's more recruiter oriented. So by the way, all right, so you said an example to your Greenhouse. Let's see, you got Slack, and you said you want to do Boolean search string.